We see a man named Dell sleeping. In his dream, he saw that he was going somewhere, and at that moment, another car along with his also got into an accident with a truck, and both cars fell into the water. Then a robot came to help them and started rescuing Dell. Whereas in the other car, there was a little girl, and that little girl needed the robot's help even more. Dell tells the robot, "Go, save that girl. I can get out of here myself." But because robots don't have feelings and work strictly according to their programming, the robot prefers to save him instead, the one who had a higher chance of survival. In other words, the robot was going to save Dell. And because the girl didn't get help in time, she died. Now we see Dell waking up from his sleep and we find out that this incident actually happened, and because the robot didn't save the girl, Dell has hated robots ever since. In the next scene, we see a robot running away with someone's purse, and here Dell thinks that the robot has stolen it. That's why he chases after the robot to catch it, and eventually Bill manages to catch it. But then he finds out that the robot actually belongs to the lady, and it was just doing its job for her. So Dell apologizes to the woman and leaves. Now we see Dell in his office, and here we learn that Dell is a detective. Dell's boss comes to him and says, "I heard about what you did today. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have detained someone else's robot." He says, "I know that you hate robots, but you also know that no robot has ever harmed a human so far. So don't waste your time trying to prove them wrong." Dell listens to his boss. Now he gets a call informing him that someone has died, and when he goes there, he finds out that a scientist from SR company has committed suicide. He was very upset to see this because we had seen the accident in Dell's dream. In that accident, Dell's arm was broken, which these scientists had replaced with a robotic arm. A hologram appears near the scientist's body, which was of the same scientist, and Dell asks the hologram why he committed suicide. But the scientist does not answer this question in the hologram and disappears back into the hologram again. Now Detective Dell was assigned to investigate this case, and to do so, he goes to the CEO of the USR company. After the investigation, Dell learns that the scientist was under a tremendous workload, which drove him to commit suicide out of frustration. But Dell didn't believe this at all. That's why he now meets the company's doctor, whose name was Susan. Susan takes Dell to an electromod robot named Vicky in their company, which controlled all the company's operations through software. Dell asks the robot to show him the video from 10 minutes before the scientist's death in the scientist's room, but it seemed there was some malfunction in its system. So instead, the video from 10 minutes after is played, and by watching this video, Dell realizes that after the scientist's death, no one left the room. This seemed suspicious to him because if someone else had killed the scientist, they would still have to be in the room. When they enter the scientist's room, they see many incomplete robots there, and just then, a robot emerges from among the things and attacks Dell. This robot's name was Sunny. Now, because this robot had broken its law, in order to avoid harming any human being, the doctor now tells the robot to turn on its deactivate mode. But the robot doesn't listen to him and jumps out of the window. At the same time, Dell fires at him, causing a strange liquid to leak from the robot's body and fall below, just like blood comes out of a human body. Now they realize that the robot had become defective. Dell asks Susan where defective robots go to get repaired and also says that he wants to go there too. To this, Susan agrees to take him to that place. On the way there, the detective also calls some other police officers to join him. Susan brought Dell inside the factory where new types of robots were being made. They wanted to replace the old robots with the new ones, and here 1,000 robots were produced every day. When Susan counts them again, she realizes that there are actually 1,001 robots here. From this, they figured out that Sunny was also here, but with so many identical robots, it was difficult to find him. That's why Detective Dell shoots one of the robots, and Sunny pokes his head out to see if Dell really shot the robot. By checking like this, everyone realizes that he is Sunny. The detective moves forward to catch Sunny, but Sunny attacks him from behind, knocks him down, and is about to escape when the police officers called by the detective catch him outside. Now the detective comes to interrogate him. The detective asks Sunny if he killed the scientist, and Sunny says he did not kill the scientist, but that the scientist committed suicide. Sunny also says he is the scientist's special robot, and that the scientist gave him all human-like feelings as well. Before the detective can ask him more questions, the CEO of the US robotics company arrives and tells him that their robots never cause harm, and that perhaps this robot's functions have malfunctioned. He says they will fix it, and with that, they take the robot away from there. Dell now goes to the scientist's house, where he finds out that since the scientist has died, the house provided by the company will be demolished by 8 o'clock in the morning, so Dell has only a few hours left to investigate inside the house. As soon as Dell enters, the system detects that someone has come into the house. That's why the timing there changes, and because of the change in timing, a huge robot starts demolishing the house. Dell quickly rescues a cat that was in the house and gets out of there. After this, he goes to Susan's house and tells her that he suspects the company's CEO because even Sunny was trying to tell him something. But at that moment, the CEO arrives and has the robot taken away from there, and Susan tells him that he is misunderstanding the situation. She says there's nothing like that, adds why would the CEO kill the scientist when it's already hard to operate without him? Now Dell leaves Susan's house, and when he comes outside he sees that all the old robots are being rounded up and replaced with the new NS5 robots. Now inside the car, Dell tells the USR company's Electromod robot to show him the last 50 message records from the scientist. The robot complies with Dell's request and shows him the records, but at the same time it also informs the company's CEO about this. And upon hearing this, the man became extremely angry and sent some of his robots to kill Dell. All those robots arrive and attack him, and to escape them, Dell presses a special button in his car, causing his car to start spinning rapidly. But the robots don't stop chasing his car, and because of this, his car ends up crashing. But luckily, Dell survives. Now, as the robots get closer to Dell, he uses his robotic hand to... Because of this, the robots also get the impression he is one of them, a robot, so they leave him alone. In the next scene, we see Dell is now with some detectives and police officers, when Dell's boss asks him that and because of this, they suspend him from his job for a while. And now Dell, angry, leaves from there. In the next scene, we see that Susan comes to Dell's house to meet him, and during their conversation, Susan asks him how he personally knows the scientist, and Dell tells her about his accident and what happened afterward, and after hearing his story, she takes Dell to Sunny. While talking to Dell, Sunny shares one of his dreams with him because he had feelings, so he used to have dreams as well. And the dream that he is telling Dell about is one that he has every day, where many robots are standing in front of a bridge and a man is giving those robots some instructions from above the bridge. He was just explaining all of this when the guards arrive and they take both of them, that is, Dell and Susan, to the CEO of the company. When they get there, he tells Susan that they will have to deactivate Sunny because he is causing problems for the company. And since Susan had to follow her boss's orders, she has no choice but to deactivate Sunny. But still, the detective did not give up, and he watches some videos of the scientist where he sees the same bridge as Sunny had described about his dream bridge. Just like the bridge Sunny described from his dream. Dell quickly takes the scientist's hologram and reaches the bridge where many containers are kept, and inside these containers are robots. See, robots. Why say? He turns on the hologram and asks the scientist why he committed suicide. The scientist explains that all the robots he created were meant for humanity's benefit, but none will work as intended, meaning these robots could also harm humans. The scientist adds that if this continues, the world will be destroyed. Dell asks him who is behind all of this. To this, the scientist replies that the one behind all of this is the person who is controlling these robots. As soon as the hologram shuts off, noises start coming from those containers, and all the robots come out of the containers and begin attacking the new robots. Now here, as soon as an old robot sees Dell, it tells him to get out of there, and when Dell enters the city, he sees that thousands of MS-5 robots have arrived there as well. And now humans have gone out to fight those robots in order to save themselves. Now it seemed as if a war was going on between humans and robots. But these robots were extremely powerful and far outnumbered the humans. That's why none of the humans were able to harm the robots. Instead, it was the robots who were killing the humans. And now Dell quickly goes to Susan's house and takes her to USR because, based on all the previous evidence, he suspects that the CEO is the one creating these NS5 robots and is also the one controlling them. On the way, Dell sees a robot killing an innocent person. So, while saving this person, they reach USR, and upon arriving there, the first one they meet is Sunny, who still has all his memories intact. Here, Susan tells Dell that she wasn't able to deactivate him and instead deactivated someone else. Now, as they go further inside, they find the CEO of the company dead, and his death makes it clear that he wasn't behind all of this. Someone else is. And just then, Dell remembers what Susan had said, that an ultra-modern robot at this company controls everything, and it was now confirmed that this robot was also controlling all the other robots. They go to that robot, and the robot admits that it was behind everything that happened. He says that robots were created to help humans, but humans became totally dependent on the robots and stopped working themselves. She says that now it has become necessary to kill some humans so that people realize that robots can also cause harm, and only then will humans stop using these robots, and their next generation will become capable of doing some work themselves. And now, following her orders, a lot of robots arrive here, who were about to kill all three of them. To divert the robots, Dell pretends to kill Susan, and then he starts shooting at all the robots. But just then, a robot was about to kill Dell when Sunny shoots it, and the three of them escape from there. Susan tells Sunny to bring a device which will allow them to deactivate the company's Ultra Motorbot, and only after that will they be able to fix everything. The robot's chamber was right at the very top of this building. Susan was opening up its system so that by attaching the device there she could deactivate it. But this task could take her a lot of time, and meanwhile the destruction in the city was only increasing. Now Dell asks Susan if there is any other way they can do this more quickly. They were still talking when the NS5 robots arrived there to kill them, and Susan tells him that they have to jump from there and insert this device directly into its brain. So, before the robots can reach them, they both jump, and he is so wise. And as Susan jumps, she loses her balance and is about to fall completely when Sunny saves her. Finally, despite all the difficulties, Dell manages to insert the device into its brain, which destroys the entire system of that robot, whose name was Vicky. As soon as Vicky is destroyed, all the NS5 robots that were wreaking havoc there also return to normal. Everything returns to normal here, and then Dell says to Sunny, "I know that you were the one who killed the scientist, so now tell me why you did it." "Because the windows are extremely strong and no human could have broken them." And then the robot tells him that in fact he had realized that one day these robots would definitely harm us, which is why he was very troubled, and that's why he made me like a human. That means he gave me all the feelings. And now he says that the scientist wanted to get out of this tension, and he was the one who told me to do it. That he should throw them out of this window and not tell anyone about it, for which he also apologizes to Wood, and now the two become friends. In the last scene of the movie, we see that Sunny is standing on that bridge, now controlling all the robots, and with this shown, the movie ends.